Right, this analysis going inside Wednesday, June 3rd. We can see that Tuesday, the previous day, was a phase of expansion. This is, well, it's important information going inside of Wednesday because typically these profile leaves either fair value gaps or order blocks around 50% and 25% of the ranges. Okay, so we'll see what's at these levels on the lower time frame. So far you can see Asia is already trading in right around 50% of the previous range, and right at the moment is creating a rejection block. Now obviously this doesn't mean that the day can't close here, but overall I would consider the previous low to be relatively safe, but we'll have to see what's at 50% of the previous range, right? And how the market trades around those levels, that'll be essentially your guide for the day in terms of order flow. The rejection block from Monday here is an important discount level, right? You want to see how price trades around these levels, and you can see that the expansion that we come from, it comes from the rejection block from Wednesday, right, which is that 15-minute breaker block. In terms of premium levels, I think that if today will expand, low-hanging fruit will be 31,000. Low-hanging fruit, say for Asia or London, the previous high, right? These are relative equal highs. These are a good area for a take profit also. If we look at the 4-hour, here we can see that price, right, we can see there's the dealing range low, and at the moment we're trading in premium, right? Price expanded and consolidated, and now from this consolidation has expanded, and you can tell that it expanded because of the daily profile from yesterday, which was a classic buy day. Okay, so what comes after expansion? Either retracement to expansion, or consolidation, or reversal. Okay, so we'll look at the possibilities of a daily profile where we look at the 1-hour. The order block from yesterday should be pretty sensitive. Also the like from an intraday perspective, the new day opening gap from the previous day, right? In case price is trading around these levels, very likely will provide some kind of trading opportunity. Okay, here we can look at the 3-day look back. First of all, let's look at the range where price comes from. Price comes from an expansion, consolidation to an expansion. Right, Friday, swing to Z. Monday, a failed bullish New York reversal, right? Reversal into the closure. And the previous day profile, an expansion, right? The classic buy from Asia. If we look at the previous day's profile, this is typical shape of a classic buy, right? The expansion and then consolidates towards the end. We can also grade this range. That's mostly what's important. We can go on a 15-minute. Okay. So first of all, what's at 50% of this range? There's a bullish order block. Okay, this is currently the lower time frame dealing range low that price is in, which is the shakeout from yesterday of New York. Now, if price from here were to make a new high, then this will become the new dealing range low. But because price still hasn't made a new high from this, right, from the current Asia shakeout, then this is still the dealing range low at the moment. Okay, so bullish order block at 50% of the range. If this level gets inverted, then we have relative equal lows on 3-day look back. Alright, so in my opinion, if this becomes a bearish breaker, very likely price will expand lower towards the 3-day look back. And this would mean overall, say for the weekly profile, it could mean all depending obviously on how the daily profile is, could be a classic sell or could be some kind of bearish swing to Z, right, or some kind of New York reversal profile. Obviously, all depending on how it trades in here. Okay, so at 50% the bullish order block, and inside of premium there is a fair value gap that cuts through a bullish order block. All right, this is right at 25% of the previous range. So these levels will be I'm saying these levels are valid because if today will be an expansion day, right? So a low of the day that forms in Asia or London, right? Already the fact that price has revisited these levels and is rejecting, to me this is a sign that price will continue trading higher, right? It has expanded, it has retraced, but right, so the fair value gap in here is pretty sensitive because you can see that price currently is finding, right, its high resistance around it. Maybe we can look at these levels currently from, well, let's just grade it. Right, so what price is going to do after it trades from this fair value gap, or whether it's lower or higher, right, the fair value gaps that is going to leave behind are going to be important, okay, for the daily profile. You know, if it trades lower from here and say creates some kind of fair value gap either through the wick or around you know, the lower half of the wick, very likely could use them for a retracement to expand lower. And in case of a reversal, then in New York, the fair value gap that would form here can be used also as an inversion. If not, if price is bullish, okay, and trades higher from these levels, say creates an expansion, okay, through a fair value gap through the range high, right? If this happens already before New York, then very likely the low of the day is already in, right? Then New York will maybe right, retrace to expand or consolidate. Obviously, all depending on what London and the pre-market session did. Okay, so see how price trades around these two levels. What does it do? Does it create fair value gaps? Does it create divergences? What time of the day is it trading inside of? Right, and based on these two levels, I think that especially trading inside of New York, right, or say the 10 a.m. power of 3 where there is ISM services, you should have a pretty good idea based on what of the daily profile I'm talking about, based on how price trader, right, what did it do from one or these two PD rays, the fair value gaps that it creates after it trades, right, either through it or from it. In terms of standard deviations, I'm still using the ones from the 4-hour range low. Right, you can see overall 2 to 2.5 leads to 31,000. Okay, so in case of an expansion day, that can be a good target. Yeah, and I think that's it overall. So keep these two levels on your chart.